The first thing billionaire Alejandro Navarro heard when he opened the doors to his engagement party wasn't music. It was a scream, a woman's scream. He stopped with one hand still on the door handle. 300 guests stood frozen beneath the chandeliers. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then Alejandro saw her. His fiancée, Valentina Cruz, was standing beside the grand staircase with an antique riding crop in her hand. And on the floor in front of her was a terrified young maid, Lucia Morales. Alejandro's stomach dropped. What happened here? Valentina slowly turned toward him. For the first time that night, the confidence disappeared from her face. She ruined my dress, she said. Alejandro looked at the small red wine stain near the bottom of her gown. Then he looked at Lucia. Her hands were shaking. There was a fresh mark across her shoulder. Alejandro's voice became dangerously quiet. You hit her? Valentina laughed nervously. Don't make this dramatic, Alejandro. She's staff. The room went completely silent. Alejandro walked toward Lucia and crouched beside her. Are you hurt? Lucia swallowed hard. I'm okay, sir. No, he whispered. You're not. Valentina rolled her eyes. This is ridiculous. Everyone is watching. Alejandro stood. Exactly. He looked around the ballroom. Everyone is watching. Nobody dared look away. Then an elderly woman rose from her chair near the fireplace. It was Alejandro's grandmother, Isabella Navarro. She slowly walked toward them, leaning on her cane. Valentina, she said, do you know what you're holding? Valentina looked at the crop. Something decorative. Isabella shook her head. No, it's a reminder. The guests exchanged confused glances. Isabella turned toward Lucia. 62 years ago, I stood exactly where that girl is standing. Alejandro stared at his grandmother. What? I was 17, Isabella continued. I worked as a maid. One night I accidentally broke a crystal glass. The woman of the house struck me. She paused. Everyone watched. Her eyes moved toward Valentina, everyone except one man. The room became painfully quiet. Your grandfather. Alejandro's face changed. He was only 22. He wasn't rich. He wasn't powerful. But he told his mother that if she ever touched me again, he would leave that house forever. Isabella smiled sadly. He kept his promise. She looked at Alejandro. And that's how our family began. Alejandro turned toward Valentina. The woman he had planned to marry in 3 weeks suddenly looked like a stranger. I'm sorry, Valentina whispered. Alejandro shook his head. You aren't sorry because you hurt her. Valentina's eyes filled with tears. You're sorry because I saw you. He removed his engagement ring. The sound of it hitting the marble floor seemed louder than the music ever had. Our wedding is cancelled. A gasp swept through the ballroom. But Alejandro wasn't finished. He turned to Lucia. From tonight, you're no longer working for this family. Lucia's face fell. Then he added, because you shouldn't have to work 3 jobs just to survive. She stared at him. What do you mean? Alejandro looked toward his grandmother. Isabella smiled. Tell her. Alejandro took a breath. Your nursing school tuition is covered. Your mother's medical debt is covered. And your brother's surgery will be paid for. Lucia covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. But Isabella wasn't looking at Alejandro. She was looking at Lucia and quietly said, sometimes the person you think has destroyed your life is actually the person who leads you toward the life you were meant to have. That night, Valentina lost a fiancé. Lucia gained a future. And Alejandro finally learned something his billions had never taught him. Money can buy a beautiful house, but character decides who deserves to stand inside it.